Over the past months, we've often reported about the problems our oceans face. Pollution, especially pollution caused by plastic. Climate change. Rising water temperature is killing coral and endangering marine life. And overfishing. What was once believed to be an inexhaustible food supply is threatened with devastating population decline. We've also told you about organizations like Oceana and Oceanwise that are working hard to save our seas. And in upcoming programs, we will continue to update you on the challenges the oceans face, and the progress or lack of progress being made to face those challenges. But in this report, we're going to take a different focus. We're going to show you how people are able to enjoy and explore the amazing marvels of our underwater world.
Difficult as it may be to believe, we actually know more about outer space than we do about the ocean. Both are hostile environments, mostly because humans need access to oxygen to be able to breathe. But while you need a rocket ship to visit space, going into the ocean is far more possible. For thousands of years, people have been diving deep, either for recreation or in search of things of value, like pearls or sponges. But they were limited by how long they could hold their breath. Many of us can barely manage a minute. One of the earliest stories takes place in 5th century BCE, when the Persian king Xerxes invaded Greece. While King Leonidas and his famous 300 Spartans, along with other Greeks, fought the Persians on land at Thermopylae, on the sea, the outnumbered Greek navy was getting ready to face the overwhelming might of the Persians. As the story goes, a Greek prisoner named Hydna was being held on a Persian ship. Jumping overboard, Hydna escaped by staying underwater. Breathing through a hollow reed, Hydna swam around cutting anchor ropes. Suddenly set adrift, Persian ships crashed into each other. So many were damaged that they were no match for the Greeks, who soundly beat them in the Battle of Salamis. It was a defeat King Xerxes never recovered from. By the way, Hydna was a woman. Anyway, as the centuries passed, many methods were tried to allow a person to breathe underwater. There's even a legend about Alexander the Great. He's the king who supposedly broke down and cried when he realized there was no more world left for him to conquer. Accounts vary. Some say he was lowered under the water in a glass globe. Others claim he was in sort of a wooden barrel. But is it true? Keep in mind, there's also a legend that Alexander flew in the air, so go figure. The Renaissance painter and brilliant inventor, Leonardo da Vinci, tried his hand at a solution. He left sketches of a suit that a diver could wear. This is a modern-day model made from Da Vinci's sketches. Notice the twin air hoses attached to the mask. In the 1800s, divers in bulky, full-length suits were able to breathe underwater. But they had to be attached to air hoses that snaked all the way back up to the ship, where assistants would man a huge pump. Around this time, Jules Verne wrote one of his most famous books, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. In the story, Captain Nemo and others walk on the ocean floor in specially designed suits. Sans air hoses. For those of you not taking French, sans means without. At the time, the thought of divers underwater without air hoses was indeed science fiction. One of the people credited with helping to make it a science fact was Jacques Cousteau. He helped create the technology that enables divers to get their air supply, not from a hose running to the surface, but from tanks easily carried on the diver's back. Basically, Cousteau is the father of what we call scuba diving. SCUBA is an acronym. The letters stand for Self-Contained Underwater Breathing Apparatus. When Teen Kids News returns, we'll dive into what it takes to learn to scuba. We'll be right back. As we continue our report on scuba diving, we're going to travel to Costa Rica. Famous for being one of the best places to dive.
Here we see lots of pufferfish, lots of sharks, eels, different types of rays, lots of big schools of fish. Hello, my name is Mac Poole. I work here in Costa Rica at Rocket Frog Divers, and I am a dive instructor. So to start scuba diving, you can be 8 years old to be in confined water, which just means like a pool, a flat area, no waves, no current, and good visibility. But in order to dive in the ocean, you just have to be 10 years old.
We all know that to get a driver's license, you need to pass a written test as well as a road test. There's also a license for scuba diving, called certification. The first step towards certification is reading up on the information you need to know, then taking a written test to prove you've absorbed the material.
And then we move to the pool. The pool, it's a confined area, very controlled environment, but you just learn skills, you learn what the gear is, be comfortable in it. You have this on your right hip, where you can pull that. So to breathe underwater, the first thing you need is a cylinder or a tank, like this one here. This is a small one that we use for the pool, but this is gonna have compressed air in it, which is gonna be able, that you can breathe. We have our regulators here. It's called the first stage. This hooks up to the tank, and then you have your regulator that you can breathe from. And then lastly, we have a BCD, or a buoyancy control device. This is going to inflate or deflate, and that way you can become neutrally buoyant in the water.
Neutrally buoyant means you're not sinking down, nor floating up towards the surface. You're just hovering.
Cool, and the third and fourth release are just the side ones. So these ones you can just pull down and tighten it up. But
Mac helped Nicole with the rest of her equipment. Then it was time to enter the water.
one more breath.
This is where you demonstrate that you can do the skills you studied online. For example, manually inflating your BCD so that you can float.
We're going to descend, and we're going to make sure we don't hit the bottom. Cool. Let's do it. You do not need to be a really good swimmer. Personally, I've taught people how to swim while they're doing their open water courses. Swimming and diving is very different. Swimming, you're usually using your arms. In diving, we solely use our fins and our legs. So after you're done with the pool, then we move to the ocean. Usually, we're going on a boat. You take a quick boat ride out to a reef or a nice dive spot.
Good morning! As the dive boat heads out, it's time to start assembling the gear for your first open water dive. Once you're suited up and the dive master checks your gear, you're ready to take the next big step.
And you jump in the water doing the giant stride, which is, these days, it's the preferred way to get into the water. Sounds exactly what you do, just take a big step into the water.
Costa Rica is a great place for diving. It's famous for crystal clear waters teeming with colorful marine life. Except during our 2 days of diving, we didn't see any clear water teeming with colorful marine life. Unfortunately, we arrived just after a hurricane had passed through, so the sea was still rough, making diving conditions far from ideal.
Today, they are very poor. We have rain coming down, the visibility isn't too good, maybe about 10, 15 feet, and lots of surge and current. So, on the bright side, it makes for good divers.
Guess that means if you can handle these conditions, you can handle just about anything.
And then once you're in, there's some surface skills where you do like taking your gear off on top of the surface, putting it back on. Learning how to tow tired divers.
Having successfully passed the surface skills, we were ready for the next part of the test.
And then we descend using the line or a mooring line. And then once we're there, we do mast skills, regulator skills. Some emergency skills. And you never forget to have fun as well.
It is fun. Once you've properly achieved neutral buoyancy, swimming underwater is like flying. And even though visibility was limited, there was still a lot of sea life to see. Mac pointed some out, including a large moray eel lurking in the coral. Some fish are intentionally hard to see. Camouflage is their protection. Peaceful as the underwater world appears, there are constant struggles between life and sudden death. In this case, the little one got away.
So there's two things you need to do before you finish the course. One is a 10-minute tread or a float, which just shows that you can keep yourself afloat on the water. Minute left. Less than a minute left. Killing it. How's she doing? She's killing it.
But she wasn't done yet. Next was the swim test.
Here we do 4 laps around the boat just to make sure our divers they can handle themselves in the water. They're comfortable.
What was it Max said earlier?
We never forget to have fun as well.
Not quite sure how much fun it was to swim through rough water and heavy surge, but Nicole did it.
Diving is very safe as long as you follow the simple rules. You never ascend too quickly. You never hold your breath. You always follow your instructor, your dive master, and make sure you have a buddy.
With all tests completed, it was back to the dive shop. They finished filling out Nicole's forms, making her officially a certified diver.
You need a certification in order to get on a dive boat or to even rent gear. You need to have proof of that certification.
With that certification, a whole world of underwater beauty and fascinating exploration is open to you. The more you dive, the more you will come to appreciate the importance of protecting one of our planet's most vital and vulnerable resources. If you want to see if scuba diving is for you, you don't have to go through the whole certification course. There's a program called Discover Scuba Diving. It's a one-day course that allows you to dive in the ocean with a certified instructor. It's a great way to get your feet wet, so to speak. For Teen Kids News, I'm Alexandra.